Yaddle Chattle.
It's a Star Wars podcast, baby. That's what it is. It's Yaddle Chattle. You know it. You love it. Brought to you by two of the less famous Star Wars podcast hosts around. Brought to you by a couple of jerks from New Jersey. A couple of Quentin Tarantino fans sitting here chatting the Star Wars. My name is Darth David. I represent the Sith part of the audience, the people who have fun, have a good time, stay up, drink a little bit, smoke a little bit, have a good time, go dancing, have some fun. Yeah, maybe there's a little evil. Maybe there's a little murder. Yeah, that's what we do. Doesn't mean we're all bad. With me, as always, representing the light side of the Force, ladies and gentlemen, put them together for Jedi Jared!
Hi, David. I'm happy to be here today. How are you?
Jared, I am ecstatic.
I know.
Estatico! Mandalorian is back, ladies and gentlemen, and we did not get an abysmal Bad Batch episode for a change.
I know.
It was a miracle. They saved a decent, I'm not going to go over the top, but they saved a decent Bad Batch, a non-Omega annoying Bad Batch episode for the day Mando Season 3 premieres. I thank you for that, because Mando Season 3, excellent. I'm pumped up. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. It's Yaddle Chattle. Let's get started. And this time you did not talk over the ending where I beautifully hit the post. That's the FM radio guy in me, baby. I can hit that post like fucking Tom Brady used to hit Gronk. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand. That's why I let you hit the post.
Okay, thank you. Well, because last week you talked over the post. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I hit the, or was that 2 episodes ago? It doesn't matter. You know that we're coming up on Yaddle 50 soon?
I know.
This is already Yaddle Chattle 46.
I feel like we've...
The hell? How did that happen?
We're actually approaching a year of broadcasting because we've taken at least...
No shit. We do this once a week. There's 52 weeks in the year.
I know, but...
You feel like...
We're gonna...
Hey, everyone! Mr. Mathematical Genius over here, Jedi Jared, feels like we're going to be hitting a year. Apparently, he just discovered there's 52 weeks in a year. So if we're on episode 46, we just got 6 more weeks until we done it for a year. He's so stupid sometimes. I'm in a great mood. Nothing's gonna sully my mood, baby. Not even your stupidity, baby.
Thank you.
All right. I'm very excited today.
I am too.
I thought listen, we're not gonna waste time. Okay? Well, I'm going to get to one. Actually, let's get to 2 quick Mandalorian-related topics before we jump right into Mandalorian Season 3 premiere. It just premiered on Wednesday, March 1st, and I can't tell you how much I enjoyed it, but I want to hear Jared's opinions. We want to go through the episode, in a fun way, talk about it, discuss it. Let's get the theories out going there. We will do a Bad Batch recap. We will do a Star Wars cage match. If I can think of a Star Wars best, maybe we do that. We're in and out. A fun, action-packed episode. It's going to be fun. It might be a little bit shorter than other episodes. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you even what the running time is because we never know what the running time is until we start this damn thing. But what I'm saying is action-packed, fun, light, happy episode, baby. Are you with me? Huh? Yeah!
Let's do it, Dogsy.
I asked you if you're with me.
And I said, let's do it. I said, let's do it, Dogsy.
You said, let's do it, Dogsy. Is that what you said?
Let's do it.
All right. Because if I have to take out my beautifully brand new, newly constructed Sith lightsaber, as I displayed last week, but I'm going to just display one. I mean, look at this thing. Look at this thing. Built at the lightsaber workshop. I was thinking about that lightsaber workshop.
Okay.
With, at Disney World.
Yeah.
What I was thinking is, why would they allow Jedis and Sith to sit there next to each other and make lightsabers? Wouldn't that be very, very dangerous? Like every single workshop episode or lesson should break out into a fight by the end. Like, as soon as the lightsabers are constructed, people should just be trying to chop each other's heads off.
There's it's one reason split into two parts, actually. One, Disney only cares about your money. And I think after spending so much money on a lightsaber, you don't want to damage it getting into a...
So you agree with my idea for a change?
Fencing.
So the Jedi agrees with the Sith that we should have a Sith lightsaber workshop and a Jedi lightsaber workshop. Are you agreeing with me? It sounds like you just agreed with me.
No, I'm saying that no one's going to get into a fight after they've just spent however much.
Oh!
So that everyone's going to be on...
I'm a psychopath. I see a fucking little kid with a Jedi. He turns that in my direction. I go, BAM! I shatter his whole goddamn thing the way Shaq shattered that backboard in 1992. I'm shattering lightsabers like Daryl Dawkins' Chocolate Thunder from the Philadelphia 76ers the way he used to shatter the backboard in 1980.
I think you might be the exception to the
rule. That's my point. You never assume anything with Darth David. He'll ruin everyone's good time. One time, years ago, I went to a New Year's Eve party at Solera's house.
Okay.
And I loved their son, Solera and Alki's son. And we had a great time, and he wanted to show me his brand new dunk hoop that he got for Christmas 6 days earlier. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
Oh, no.
So we decided we'll play a little one-on-one. We'll have a little fun. What happens is the competitive juices always come out of me for real, no matter what. I always start playing wiffle ball or Nerf football. I always start I start in a happy, chill mood. And that quickly goes out the window. I broke my mom's thumb one time in two-hand touch football on Thanksgiving. True story. I shoved her in the bushes when she was carrying the ball. They tried to play action pass, faked the handoff to my brother Mark, who was a track star, threw it to my mom. But before she was able to hit the end zone, I LT'd her. I Joe Theismanned her ass. Anyway, with regards to this dunk hoop, he's winning 7-6. It's a good game. I was a little bit intoxicated. I decided to make a crossover move. Go in there for the jam. I dunked it so hard, this brand new $1,200 metal dunk hoop came down in half. I broke the whole goddamn thing. They were nice enough never to charge me for it. I think they got a replacement because it was literally 6 days after they had bought it.
Jesus Christ.
Well, now, let's talk. Let's talk. Dave Filoni.
Dude, can I ask this? Does this all, go back to the Easter egg hunt and how incredibly competitive
I've always been this way, sadly. I always start with great intentions of, let's have a fun little wiffle ball game. It's going to be real good. And then by the sixth inning, I'm like, fuck that! He was out! You can't tell me different! You get the fuck out of my house! I start banning people from my house.
I know.
Now, Jared,
yes,
Dave Filoni says Mando 3 will be high action.
Okay.
They said, what are we supposed to look for? He says, we're going to start weaving in different stories. He's talking Ahsoka. He's talking Mando. He's probably talking maybe a Boba Fett type of deal. But regardless, weaving in stories. Lots of stories will be woven in and high action. That's one thing that I love. Are you enjoying that? Do you think it's... How about this? Before we do the premiere, just tell me, did you think the premiere, episode 1... of Mando season 3, did that have high action?
Oh yeah, from beginning to the end, the entire episode.
I agreed with the high action,
action packed.
And this will lead me to my our very next topic, and then we get right into Mando because these were supposed to be just two Mando setups. This is from Danny D. Placido of Forbes. I'm going to read you, and I won't do what Jared said. I will put my phone ahead of the microphone. Danny D. Placido reviewed The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere. And here we go. In contrast to the dizzying heights of Andor, remember what I've been telling you, folks? A deep dive into the inner workings of the rebellion, a fresh, sophisticated story from an exhausted franchise, The Mandalorian feels noticeably empty. It's Star Wars without the sugar, and yet I feel compelled to keep watching. As former President Donald Trump once said of Diet Coke, that's okay. I'll still keep drinking that garbage. Close quote. That is Danny D. Placido of Forbes, if you want to check him out or give him any comments. He compared The Mandalorian, ladies and gentlemen, to Diet Coke. Now, I'm going to straight up tell you, I've been saying this shit for fucking weeks, haven't I?
Yes.
That I have been seeing the percolation of people who loved Andor so much that now they feel compelled to shit on The Mandalorian. And this is the way modern day society thinks, and it stinks.
Well,
it sucks. Wait a second. I got an important thing to say.
Okay.
You are allowed to like different things in society and not feel compelled to shit on other things. You are allowed, for instance, to like one sport and not feel compelled to then, since I like this sport, I have to shit on another sport. Or since I like this movie franchise, I have to now shit on the other movie franchise. Or since I love Andor, I now have to shit on The Mandalorian. This is prevalent in society across the board, and I'm sick and fucking tired of it. Wake up, stop being assholes. Everyone, the trolling, bullshit, the negativity, the fucking saying bullshit and stupid shit that isn't from the heart. Okay, you got real issues and real problems with your storytelling, then make it organic. But stop this fucking, everything is me. If I don't like something instantly, I fucking need, I want it canceled, I want it gone, I want this and that. I kept saying, Andor is fucking fantastic. It's great. So is The Mandalorian. They can both exist. And what is the issue that people are having with Marvel? That the movies and series feel the same.
Yeah.
And that's a criticism that even Mark Ruffalo tried to pass on to Star Wars when he was confronted with it. When the Incredible Hulk was confronted with, hey, all the Marvels seem the same right now. He goes, oh no, that's more Star Wars. Star Wars feels the same. Hey, fuck you, Incredible Hulk. Just because the Incredible Hulk is fucking drinking margaritas and acting like an asshole, basically acting like fucking Jimmy Buffett rather than smashing cars, you know, which is all he needs to do. Just because he's acting like an asshole, don't take it out on us. Star Wars right now is working because of the differences. The fact that we can have a brilliant series like Andor over here, and then Star Wars, The Mandalorian over here is phenomenal. There are differences, by the way. With Andor, I got such a beautiful fill of mystery and intrigue and writing for the first time in Star Wars, like great dialogue. Some of these people forget that Star Wars has never had great dialogue.
Nope.
Remember the fucking monologue about sand? Or Luke Skywalker with the power converters? What are we doing over here? But now people are like, well, Andor's dialogue is great, and Mandor's dialogue just doesn't seem like it's on the same level. It's not supposed to be. It's a different show. You can have Andor over here, which has, I'll give you a perfect example. The Wire.
Yeah.
The Wire is a thick and layered police show.
Yeah.
I love The Wire.
It's a great show.
Years ago, back in the day, I used to love, before there was 9,000 spin-offs, I also used to love Law and Order. It's very simple. Someone gets killed at the beginning of the show. The cops have to find out who it is. The first half is the law. Second half is the order where you have the trial.
It's called a procedural.
Okay? Nice and simple. It was a very simple show. And I loved it, and then I could love The Wire. You can love different things with different feels. Andor is more mature. Andor is different. But The Mandalorian hits you as a Star Wars fan if you have any heart or any soul. If you have any fucking Star Wars soul. This is coming from a Sith, mind you. Then you don't just shit on The Mandalorian just because another good Star Wars property comes along does not mean we have to shit on the existing Star Wars properties. Grow the fuck up. Have the ability to enjoy more than one thing. Rock and roll. I like a hard-charging straight band like the Ramones. I also love a very complex band like Pink Floyd. You couldn't have two more different bands. But I enjoy them both. Because to me, they're both great. It's the same thing with the Mando and with Andor. They're different different shows. And by the way, I agree with what Jared said. The Andor, for as brilliant as it was supposed to be dialogue heavy, supposed to be intrigue heavy, mystery heavy. As a result, we didn't get a lot of action. When we did, it was awesome. You know, episode 6, episode 3, episode 10 with the prison break, the season finale. But it wasn't, episodes 4 and 5, almost no action at all.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, you didn't have a lot of action. Mando now, right away, space battle, monster, gunfight. That's 3 big action scenes in 37 minutes. What the fuck? These critics, you're not going to ruin my day. I love Andor, and guess what? I love The Mandalorian. And you know why? I'm a multi-dimensional human being with the capacity to appreciate a variety of things, rather than, I like something, so I need it repackaged and retold to me exactly the same way until the end of time.
Well,
like Danny DiPlacido of Forbes. Hey, asshole. The reason why Andor worked was because it's different. If you now start making every Star Wars show like Andor, they're all going to be the same. Then you're going to have Star Wars fans saying, there's too much dialogue-heavy Star Wars shows. We want some fucking action around here. And people will be clamoring for a Mandalorian-type show. It's preposterous. The amount of fucking whining. I know I've taken shots at the Bad Batch. I said I have to be honest on this show. I've been a Star Wars fan since I'm 5 years old, for 40 fucking years, going back to 1983, Return of the Jedi. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. But I am a positive Star Wars fan. Though I may be a Sith, I look at things glass half full. Now, if the fucking Bad Batch is going to suck because of Omega's kind of awful character, I got to tell it like it is. That's what Yaddle heads expect. But at the same time, I'm not coming in here to cry and bitch and whine about everything. Then you are just being an asshole who doesn't even like Star Wars, and you're pretending that you're a Star Wars fan, Danny DiPlacido of Forbes. Asshole. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That was an important rant.
You needed to get
I
that
had
out.
to get that one off the chest.
Yeah, I know.
And isn't it better that I can rant at Danny DiPlacido than Jedi Jared?
Yeah, sure.
From now on, you just bring me a story like Danny DiPlacido.
Just get you angry?
Yeah, give me a Danny specifically give me a Danny DiPlacido story once a week, and I guarantee you'll set me off. That guy's fuck him. Diet Coke? Oh my God, give me a break. Oh, and by the way, good guy to quote, by the way. Anyway. Let's quote presidents with Star Wars. Again, you know my feelings about, and this isn't a thing about anything. I'm not getting political. I'm saying I hate when people bring politics into Star Wars, no matter what your political affiliation is. Go ahead.
Well, do you remember that movie that came out, what was it? Was it in 2008 called The Dark Knight?
Yes, I remember that. Batman. Great.
Batman Begins.
Woo!
And Dark Knight kind of was like, it elevated the whole superhero genre
that way. Yes.
into a film.
Yes.
It was a piece of art.
Yes.
And everyone was like, oh, we need to make every superhero movie now needs to feel real.
Right.
It needs to be dark.
Yes.
And it needs to be gritty. And we got Man of Steel. Well.
Yeah, no, there's truth to that.
Not supposed to be like dark and gritty and brooding.
Right.
Like he's supposed to be optimistic.
They never understand that. These showbiz types, these producers, and even surprisingly, these quote-unquote film critics, they never fucking get that variety is the spice of life, daddy. And if everything's the same, we get bored as audiences quickly. The best way to counter that is to have different shows. Have an Andor over here, have a Mando over here, go with an Obi-Wan over there, other shows, Ahsoka. Just chill out with the I need everything the same. Grow the fuck up.
You see,
is Danny DiPlacido of Forbes one of those people who he has a slice of pizza every goddamn night for dinner? I guess that's what he does, right? Every goddamn dinner, every meal's the same because he needs things exact. If he likes something, he has to have that, and he has to have it that way for the rest of his life. Jesus Christ. When are we going to grow up as humans? Has the internet fucking just totally destroyed us?
Yes.
Let's throw the goddamn internet in the fucking garbage.
Well, I don't.
Even if that means people can't hear Yaddle Chattle anymore.
I think it's more Twitter that's really Twitter and Facebook's rotted.
Twitter and social media embolden everyone to think that they're a legitimate film critic and that they can break things down when most people, with all due respect, not you Yaddleheads, no one watching or listening right now, because Yaddleheads are special, but most people are really stupid. Sorry, that's the truth. We're learning that more and more as a human society with social media. I say we pull the plug on all of it.
Okay. I like Instagram. Instagram's fine.
But, all right. Any comments before we go into Mando? We are going to go into Mando.
No, I think that I agree with what you're saying.
It's bothersome to me.
Well, you know what it is? This is what I said last week. We have so much new Star Wars content now, and it's the first time in the entire franchise history people don't know how to process it.
That's a good point.
That is, you never know how good you have it until it's gone.
I think that's a good point because if Empire Strikes Back comes out now, how many people would have buried it?
Like,
they would have said no ending.
Father?
They would have said no ending. They would have complained that, well, what the fuck, you got frozen carbonite and that was it? That's where you leave it? Even if they explained carefully, we're going to have another movie. You would have, they would have been fucking up in arms about that. There would have been this. No, forget about it. All right. Now we go into the happy topic that I wanted to discuss from the very beginning of the show. Mandalorian season 3. Yes, go ahead. Because one quick last.
I'm gonna go back to what this guy said.
Danny, and by the way, he spells his name Dani.
I don't get that.
D Placido, just so you know, and it is a gentleman because I saw his picture. Go ahead.
I don't get how he could say that when the Mandalorian has been the most Star Wars-y thing.
This fucking asshole
original trilogy.
In this article, he says, well, it was great the first 2 seasons, but because of Andor, it's Diet Coke. That's what he's saying. And
but that's nonsense.
And this tired ass take, seriously, tired ass fucking take and cliche is being repeated by other Star Wars fans. Andor broke Star Wars for me. Good. Watch Andor, and then when Andor concludes, turn off your television for the rest of your life. If it broke Star Wars for you, just only rewatch Andor. Only Andor for the rest of your life. Don't watch the other stuff.
Did The Sopranos break, like, Mob?
Oh, yeah, it broke. Everything breaks everything. Everything breaks everything.
No. In fact...
You know what it is? No one's breaking anything. People don't have imaginations anymore, and people don't have open minds anymore. That's the truth. No one goes in blank slate saying, I'm going to enjoy this. Whatever the fuck they give me, I'm going to enjoy this. Like, I go into every Star Wars movie, show, animation with, I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this.
Yeah.
In this entire time, I've had one bad experience, The Bad Batch. I've loved Rebels, Clone Wars. I love the originals, but I love the prequels. And I've even said I love the sequels. Rogue One and Solo. Don't give me your negative shit just because I don't like one fucking character from a goddamn animation show. I'm a guy who loves stuff because I can process different things. I like variety. Jeez.
I don't want to go into something hating it. If I don't I don't.
How many fans are that way now?
I don't hate watch. I don't hate listen to anything.
That's my point. How many fans though are that way?
A lot.
I think you're getting closer to 50-50, where 50% of fans from any franchise, not just Star Wars, are going in with love, and the other 50%, who I believe have been corrupted by social media and the negativity that brings, go in with it, I'm going to go in with an ass as an asshole, and they have to impress me. As if there's some fucking big shot.
But I just, for me, if I don't like something, I turn it off, or I don't watch
That's
it.
right. That's all I do, unless I do a Star Wars podcast called Yaddle Chattle, and then I forced myself to watch a little New Zealand girl run around with a bunch of hardened soldiers.
But let me ask you, if we weren't doing Yaddle Chattle, would you have stopped watching The Bad Batch?
No, I owe it to Yaddleheads. We began this commitment, and I will see Bad Batch through.
Is that say this podcast never existed, right?
Oh, if we weren't on the air, I would have been out.
You would have stopped watching.
Oh yeah, I would have. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste my time. I don't like wasting my time. Time is really precious on the planet. You know, I've had people close to me die the last couple of years. Time is a very fucking precious thing, and I'm not gonna waste a half an hour every goddamn week watching these idiots. But the good news is Bad Batch was not terrible. We're gonna do that after the thing. So I have more positive things to say about Bad Batch than negative. I only have one or two little quibbles. I'm gonna call them little quibbles, by the way. Okay. I actually thought Bad Batch was an acceptable episode. I did. That's why I'm in such a good mood. But it really is because of Mando. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, we see a baptism taking place. The armorer makes a helmet for a little guy. He's in the water there. And then all of a sudden, a giant fucking crocodile comes out of the water. And starts trying to eat everybody. And does the roll. I thought that was cool. The death roll. Remember Temple of Doom when those guys fell off the bridge and they got the death roll and they're screaming? I thought that was really cool. Seeing that. I thought that giant alligator looked awesome. I mean, I loved it.
They just went right after. Like, the action just starts.
Boom! Right away.
Right out of the game.
Mando in the ship. Can't get enough of him in that starfighter, man.
With the Naboo starfighter.
I think it sounds great. Yes, the Naboo starfighter. I love the sounds that the Naboo starfighter makes. I just love the sounds that this thing makes. When he goes up, when it goes down, when it turns. Oh! And then then he lands things, and little Grogu comes up, pops up, waves. Oh, shit. You go into the Mandalorian opening credits there. Oh! That's a great way. Fun, exciting, even a little bit comedic with Grogu's head popping up. How can you watch that and not just say, God, I love this? We go into him. All right, I'll break each thing down by segment. You tell me, don't skip ahead, because I'll get to the next thing.
No, I think Favreau gets it. Have you ever seen a bad Favreau movie?
Favreau gets that fine line of not just doing fan service, giving the fans what they want, but telling a great story too. Yeah. He's capable of giving people what they want. For Star Wars, monsters, creatures, aliens, ships, weapons, space.
Yeah.
Few other things. But if you have all of those things and you have a shitty story, Favreau knows no one's going to care. You got to give him the story, first and foremost. And that's his greatest strength. Absolutely. I believe he's a great storyteller.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, how many Christmas movies have become classics in the last 40 years?
Elf, Iron Man, even his live action Disney stuff has gone very, very well. The Lion King and stuff like that has gotten huge reviews. Favreau's great. So here's how they addressed the Boba Fett thing. They just had a quick conversation with Mando and the Armorer, where she just quickly said, you took off your helmet. So she recapped it for us. Again, I wasn't worried about the episodes where Mando and Grogu reunited in the Book of Boba Fett. I guess some people were. Some people didn't watch.
Because they didn't watch it. But you
if they didn't go back and watch the Book of Boba Fett after all this time, they certainly must be aware that Mando was in those 2 episodes, and Grogu.
I mean, it made news.
So, if you just decided to ignore it for some reason, look in the mirror and say, why did I do that?
You could catch up now.
Yeah, but you should have been caught up a lot longer before now. So he goes, he does this. He gets, so Armorer says, well, you gotta go to Mandalore. You know what you gotta do. You gotta go to Mandalore. You gotta bathe in the Mandalore waters in the mines. And that's the only way you can be forgiven. Okay, fine, I'll go. He gets into his starfighter. This is what I love. The light speed. Grogu looking around and seeing.
Oh, the whales.
From Rebels, right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
That had to be them, right?
No, that's exactly what it was.
That's confirmed? Has it been even... It hasn't been confirmed, but it has to be, right? Has to be those whales.
Come on.
Well, no, the only reason why is because they could have been the same body shape as that monster in Solo. Remember the monster that lived in that, what was it they called? The Mog or whatever, the Bog or whatever. Like, it lived in all that really weird area and it tried to eat the Millennium Falcon. Remember that monster?
No, those were the whales because those
were the whales.
The whales can travel FTL.
And yeah, the whales travel with lightspeed.
Yeah.
And that is going to be great. And I tell you what I could see. Some sort of whale harvesting fucking thing where the Empire starts harvesting these motherfuckers for power.
Oh, God.
No, I think that would be cool.
No. Well, they maybe?
Did they do that in Rebels?
No, they were using the gas that they use for, like, food.
Yeah, but if these things can travel through lightspeed, obviously
they travel in space.
They have energy inside them. I think it would make a lot of sense to
if they
try to crack them open and harvest whatever the hell powers them up, you know, and that would be what the Empire could do. But I thought it looked great.
Oh yeah,
I thought it looked stunning. I'm gonna say something that's a good effect of Andor. I do believe. I told you, season 1 of Mando. My only criticism was season 1 of Mando looked more like a TV show as opposed to Andor. I felt like you could literally put that in the movie theater tomorrow. It looked very cinematic. Well, guess what? I think the positive effect of Andor is I thought this looked spectacular. I did think visually it looked a little higher to me than other Mandos. I thought it did. I could, you know.
They got more money.
They got maybe a little bit more money.
More money.
But I thought that scene looked great with the lightspeed and the whales. Fantastic.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
He goes to the planet Navarro, I believe.
Yes.
I always remember that because of
Dave Navarro.
Dave Navarro, yes.
Jane's
Addiction and Red Hot Chili Peppers guitarist, Dave Navarro. And he goes to Navarro. He sees his man, Greef Carga. Carl Weathers is back. Love him. And Greef Carga is trying to smooth talk him, make him be a sheriff because he needs a little help.
Because Gina Carano.
Because Gina Carano left, and Gina Carano was supposed to be the cop.
She got
Fired. And she was supposed to be the sheriff in town. And that was kind of sort of interesting. What was more interesting to me was Greef Carga telling him Moff Gideon is at a war tribunal right now. I can't wait to see that. I'm assuming we're going to see that. I need to see a New Republic war tribunal. I think that will look fucking awesome.
Then the next question becomes...
I think it'll look really cool.
Then the question becomes... Do we see either Mon Mothma or do we see a CGI Princess Leia? That's
a great question. Mon Mothma would still be very much alive, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's in Return of the Jedi.
No, I know. Yeah, I think, why couldn't we see Mon Mothma? Unless she doesn't have as much to do with the New Republic. She was really there leading the rebellion, and she's giving the New Republic over to Leia or somebody. I don't know. It's a good question. But I really think this, like, Nuremberg style, like, really, you know, epic, people gathered around a table. Maybe he's got the little headphones on. Or I just think it would look, I think there's a potential there for it to look really cool. And I want to see the War Tribunal with Moff Gideon in the worst way.
I think that's going to probably end up in some kind of dramatic, like, prison break type of thing.
Right, you would think. And do you think, all right, question, do you think we'll get it here in Mando Season 3, or do you think we'll get it possibly in Ahsoka?
No, I think we're definitely going to get it now.
Okay. So Greef Karga wants to get him to be a sheriff, but they're interrupted because of a bunch of pirates that he's got to deal with. I liked his C-3PO. His C-3PO messed up with calling him magistrate, and he's like, "Hi, magistrate." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." But I thought he looked cool. I liked his voice, very shiny. I always like a nice protocol droid. So that was good for me. They go to the pirates. I loved it. There was one of each. And I thought, you know what? Smart.
Yeah.
Smart. We don't always have to have everyone
look like Hondo.
Five equal-looking Trandoshans. Or just 5 of the same species. You had a dog guy. You had a squid guy. You had, the little face guy. You had the little frog lizard dude who I really enjoy his people. I liked the pirates. I liked the guy's accent. I was going to look it up. I should have.
I really want to see Hondo.
Wait, do you know the actor who played that?
No.
Okay. For a fleeting second, I actually thought it was the same actor who played You know, the bad guy in Rogue One, the guy who wears white.
Oh,
Krennic.
Krennic.
I thought it was the same actor who played Krennic. I don't think it was, because I listened closer. At first, I thought the voice was similar. But nevertheless, the pirate was great. Gunfight. Greef shoots the gun out of his hand. Other guys try to shoot him when they're walking away, so Mando takes care of the rest. Greef leaves the one guy in charge. I knew that was a mistake. Mando did too. But you know what? Sort of made sense. They used to do that back in the day.
In the Western. It's a Western.
And even more, like hordes would leave exactly one survivor so that one survivor could go and tell the other tribes, hey, these fuckers are badasses. Do not screw with them. I loved it. They shake hands. They leave. Mando is in space now. He's in a ship. All of a sudden, that pirate has gotten a bunch of other guys, and in an asteroid field, there's a big goddamn fucking thing, and they're chasing Mando. They're shooting at him. It's a great scene.
Oh, yeah.
Mando starts hiding behind rocks in the asteroids and starts picking off the pirates one by one, which I thought was awesome.
How is this? So we go back to the Diet Coke comment. How is this, like, how is any of this Diet Coke? This is classic Coca-Cola. That is everything you love about Star Wars.
Danny DiPlacido. Oh, and the other one that I read, the other article was Drew McGarry of the San Francisco Gate newspaper / website. And I'm not even going to read the Drew McGarry stuff because it was so annoying. He's one of these people who considers himself a writer, yet he uses caps lock. And this shit isn't even on fucking Twitter. Like, this is like a published author, a guy who's written books and articles, and he writes, like, you know, sentences with all caps lock, like it is fucking Twitter. Well, first of all, if you're going to write like a jack-off with no fucking grammar, I ain't reading your shit, bro. I have a college education, okay? Magnum cum laude, graduated with a 3.5 GPA, motherfucker. I don't read caps locks in books and fucking articles. I'll put up with that shit on Twitter.
I won't.
Anyway, Drew McGarry, Danny DiPlacido, they had the same thing. Andor, it made it boring for us. Shut up!
You know what that is?
You didn't like that asteroid field where he's hiding behind rocks or putting the ship in the middle of like a rock that was hollowed out, which was like the coolest one. The second guy he killed, I believe, he was hiding in a rock that was just hollowed out and he flies out of it and fucking blasts the guy. That shit was awesome.
Do you know what this is?
Go, baby.
It's people who want to sound like they're more mature and more like...
They're not.
Like,
it is
this
way more...
This was a piece of art.
It's way more immature, and it's way more teen angsty to hate on everything. It's way more of a young person, stupid, naive mentality to shit on stuff. That's what younger people do. I'm not talking about this generation. Any generation. The young people like to fucking mix it up or shit on stuff and this and that. You grow up a little bit. You start seeing intricacies, nuances to art. Man, this shit was great. I don't understand.
You know what it is? It's like you get a cheeseburger and then you have a steak. And both are good.
Oh, I like both. I like cheeseburgers and steaks.
But the way I look at it is like this. The Mandalorian.
I got 2 cheeseburgers in my fridge right now.
And you got some ribs too. I brought you ribs.
Jedi Jared brought me ribs today. Ladies and Jedi men.
I make really good slow cooker ribs.
Okay, that's why, Jared, for the first time ever, give yourself 7 points.
Oh, wow.
That is your biggest
number
you've ever been rewarded.
Thank you.
7. And right now, I'm not taking him away.
Thank you, Mr. Champion.
Okay. Jared's got 7. Give me 8 points, though, for being so benevolent of a Sith Lord.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank me? What? Was that sarcastic?
No.
-1. It felt slightly sarcastic.
No, I was about to say thank you, Mr. Champion. I always say thank you.
Another -1. Give him just 5 points. Don't give him the 7. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I think that these guys had steak, and now they're looking at what is an incredible, exquisite cheeseburger, and they're like, oh, it's McDonald's.
Yeah, and pick and don't do end of the show quiet voice, Jared.
I'm not doing it. No. I'm just saying that something stuck.
No, I hear you. It was a well-made, and sometimes a cheeseburger that is that well-made at a fine restaurant might even be as good as a steak.
Yeah.
I've gotten shitty steaks and cheeseburgers that are like so mind-blowing you go, oh my God, like rather than dessert, I want to have another one of those.
Yes.
Like we're talking about an actual big-time restaurant is what I'm saying. Yes, I agree with you.
And that's what Star Wars is, a big-time restaurant. And
Bro, let's just think about this. After that fucking great asteroid space battle, he then almost gets taken by a pirate.
That looks like Swamp Thing.
The man's name is Gorian Shard. Gorian Shard, you have a new #1 fan in Davy Mack.
That guy was
He looked
great.
fucking like made of grass, made of no one knows what the fuck he was made.
It was Swamp Thing.
He was made of hedges. Swamp Thing, I also got a little bit of 2 characters in Creepshow. Remember Creepshow, the original? 1980, Stephen King wrote it.
Yeah, George A. Romero
There's
directed
2
it.
sketches. One, a guy of all
the
people,
seaweed guy.
he buries. You know who? Remember
Was
it was Ted Danson.
It was Ted Danson. Was that the Leslie
Ted
Nielsen?
Danson was yes. Leslie Nielsen.
Kills.
His wife was cheating on him with
With
Ted
Ted
Danson. So he buries both his wife and Ted Danson, and the water comes up, but they stay alive and they come back as seaweed people. Or even on the same Creep Show, when Stephen King touches this asteroid and he becomes made of like moss and grass. It was actually Stephen King himself was in a sketch, and he becomes this like grass guy.
He makes himself look like an idiot.
Yes, yes.
He's like, "What's this, boss?"
Yes. So, but I didn't care. I'm not saying it was a ripoff.
No, I thought it was great.
I actually thought it looked great. A lot of people have been complaining that a lot of the aliens and monsters are too fleshy colored, and while this was green, it was vibrant, bright green, and he had vibrant, bright red eyes, and I loved his voice, and I loved his ship. I loved everything about Gorian Shard, and this is what we talking about, because you're not getting Gorian Shard in Andor.
No.
Now, I don't want to be in a position to start shitting on Andor, so I'm not going to. I'm just pointing out to Drew McGarry and Danny DiPlacido of Forbes, you're not getting fun, insane, weird, but ultimately glorious characters like this dude. You're not getting them in Andor because it's a more serious show. And that's what I live for this shit too. I live for it.
Well,
I saw that guy, I go, oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
We needed this.
Because it's like in the cantina scene, you see that it's really a galaxy filled with different species.
That's right.
And like that was the whole point. All these pirates come from different planets, and they're still fucking pirates. Like when you in episode 4, when they walk into the cantina, you could tell that it's like a seedy place. But there's all these different other sketchy guys. It's not just one race of sketchy people. All of these guys are sketchy, but they're all from different
This
planets.
guy was great. They came up with something new, something insane. A guy made of hedges with a British accent. He looked like he could have been an old British rock star as well. Like a guy who could have, like, I guarantee you Gorian Shard is into Jethro Tull. Like, just with his look, I guarantee you he listens to Jethro Tull.
No,
in his
I was getting more like Idris Elba, like Stringer as Stringer Bell.
No, I
Yes.
see him as an older white guy with the beard and the long hair. Yeah, Stringer Bell.
Stringer Bell.
No, that's way off. No, this guy had like old weird British man type of thing, you know. But great character, and I thought that was going to be the end of the episode.
Really?
Yes, I thought as soon as he left, we're gonna fade to black, and then and then all of a sudden we go to Bo-Katan, and she's got a dope ass Mandalorian castle, and he visits her. She don't got Sasha Banks or that other guy around anymore because as soon as she came back without the Darksaber, they said, "Fuck you, lady, you mean nothing to us." So her forces abandoned her. She's just sitting there pouting. She says, well, listen, go to those mines if you want to, but it's all superstition, Mando. You are a fool. And I thought Bo-Katan looked great.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that the castle looked great. The set looked great. And all in all, I loved it. I thought we got a lot of things set up here. And while at the same time, it was just a fun Mandalorian episode as well. But I thought we did actually have a bunch of little things. I think space whales are going to come into effect. I think Gorian Shard's going to come into effect. We started hearing more and more about the Empire from Greef Carga. Let's watch out what happens with that and what's happened with Greef Carga. Grogu, we still are we're supposed to be getting more and more of Grogu's origin story. How did he survive the Jedi Temple?
Okay.
I mean, this was a great start.
Yeah,
What'd you
absolutely.
think?
No, I don't understand people.
Like Danny DiPlacido of Forbes.
I don't get it.
Or Drew Magary of SF Gate. I hope every Yaddle head goes and checks out these articles and write something in the comments section. We're not saying to threaten these people, but take them to task for their bitchy attitudes. Danny DiPlacido, Forbes, Drew Magary of SF Gate.
I'm not as much as a cheerleader as you are for everything. I will call balls and strikes differently than you will.
That's right. I'm actually, of all things, even though I'm the Sith, I'm the positive one with Star Wars here.
But I don't know how you could not watch this episode and be like, this is what Star Wars is supposed to be all about. It made me feel like a kid again.
It felt great.
It made me feel like a little kid.
You know how many times I've watched it? 4.
You watched it 4 times?
Yes.
In a 24-hour period.
I watched it twice on Wednesday, and I watched it twice on Thursday. I can't actually stop watching the episode.
I'm going to watch it tonight because my wife wasn't feeling well, so
yeah.
She missed out. I watched it.
I've watched it now multiple times, and I'm really enjoying it. It's multiple times.
I don't.
So it's like when someone says, like, Andor, it's like, don't be one of these people who's stuck in the past. Treat life as you're in the moment right now. Are you enjoying yourself right now? We as a society need to stop comparing and contrasting every fucking thing that's out there. Simply look at your experience that you're having right then and there and saying, am I enjoying myself, yes or no? Now, if you live in the moment and you really hate this episode, fine. But if I was then Danny DiPlacido, I'd tune out of Mandalorian for the rest of the show. If I was Drew Magary, I'd be out. Fuck those guys, because they're not going to like anything. They're
Probably
old, salty
not.
assholes.
I don't know why, as you were saying before, if time is so precious, why would you watch something you don't like? Like, why be angry? You want to be angry at justified being angry. Like, if you were disappointed with something...
I'll give you a perfect example. Before we started doing Yaddle, I tuned out of the Resistance cartoon. I started it. I watched 4 or 5 episodes. I didn't go crazy the way I did with, as Yaddle heads would know, of some Bad Batch episodes because I thought they were really talking down to us. I understood the Resistance cartoon for what it was. I knew it was a Saturday morning cartoon for younger kids. And so I watched it and I said, well, I'm still going to give it a try because it's Star Wars cartoon. When I realized that it was very, kid-ish and it really wasn't there wasn't going to be anything canon-wise that I absolutely needed to be watching Resistance for. Once I realized that, I said, I'm not going to waste my time. Life is precious. Every second counts. And I'm going to do something else. But I didn't freak out. I didn't go nuts. I didn't say everything that Star Wars stinks. I just stopped doing it. And it's like, I stopped watching that show. Guys like Danny DiPlacido and Drew Magary should just stop with Star Wars. And all the Star Wars fans who complain about everything live action, it is time for you to stop. Because I'm sick of the negative noise, honestly. You have some fucking people at Lucasfilm and Disney who do think that Star Wars fans are assholes. And think that we just shit on everything. And think that Star Wars fans are toxic. No! That is not the case. Most Star Wars fans, millions and millions and millions of fans appreciate Star Wars. You have the 1 or 2% that are just so annoyingly loud on the internet and scream about everything that confuses these corporate heads into thinking that, well, we must be doing things wrong and we must be this and that. It's just, it makes them panic. That's why I really hate the fucking negative noise. If the negative noise is warranted, fine. But if you just hate everything because that's who you are, you're a dick.
I think that you need to have some nuance. If you're going to criticize something, like anything I criticize,
Nothing that guy in Forbes said was nuanced. He didn't have shit in terms of any good reasons. It was simply, Andor's better. So now I hate Mando, and I used to like it. Really? That's your take? That's so boring.
But that's
I've seen that comment everywhere.
But the people that shit on the original the prequels don't say it ruined, like they'll say George Lucas ruined my childhood or something dumb like that, but it doesn't take away any of the magic of the original trilogy.
No, some people say that, and they were assholes back then.
Well,
whoa. I ain't defending those prequel fucking hating assholes either, because at that time in 99, 2002, 2005, and I was, a young, older teenager, young 20s, early 20s, I mean, guess what? I wasn't saying that. I was saying, well, then you guys just go and watch episodes 4, 5, and 6, because I'm fucking digging this prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
It looks great. So you guys go back and watch that. But those assholes, I called those guys out back in those times, too.
Yeah, but you got to also keep in mind that those guys are always going to be like, they're all going to be like a blowhard and say, well, it's not as good.
Oh, I know that.
X, Y,
Listen,
Z.
the Drew Magary article, I could tell he was going to be a douchebag from the opening paragraph. If you're like me, you have a love-hate relationship with Star Wars. Do you? I don't have a hate relation. Hate doesn't enter it.
Except
and I'm a fucking Sith, Drew. He goes, you have a love-hate relationship with Star Wars. You love the original trilogy. You hate the prequel trilogy. You love a couple of the new movies. You hate most of the new movies. You know what, asshole? No, we don't. Speak for yourself. And I just think that the whole prequel hate thing, if that is your take in 2023, you're lame. You're cliche. You're boring. Like, you're boring. You're uncreative. You're repeating talking points that are 15 to 20 years old, and they're really not relevant, and they're not even accurate now. Because people are looking at the prequel trilogy with the correct perspective. They were always setting up episodes 4, 5, and 6 to be the huge action-packed, amazingly fun movies to bring home the story. But they had to be more deliberate. You had to show more of a longer gradual buildup so that when the Republic collapses, it would be truly heartbreaking. When Anakin goes to Vader, it would be truly heartbreaking. So it was going to take a longer build. But in the end, it would benefit all movies, and it did. All movies were benefited because of the prequel trilogy. All movies were, including the prequel trilogy. If you think about it, Darth Vader kind of just quickly goes from heel to babyface, and there really wasn't anything. Yes, we heard that he was Anakin Skywalker in episode... No, I mean, we didn't even know he was Anakin Skywalker in episode 4. Then we hear, oh yeah, he's Luke's father in episode 5. But he was never a good guy until basically the last 5 minutes of the movie. So we needed the prequel to establish that guy more, because then it became heartbreaking to see him as Vader, as this tortured soul, but then it becomes even more uplifting to see him go back to Anakin. Anyway, this isn't about the prequel. This is about the fact that this series is unbelievable, and so is the Andor, and they can both fucking exist.
Yeah. I don't... Why... You don't compare a drama and a comedy and say, well, this drama...
These short-sighted, narrow-minded fools do. That is the point. They do. They think that because it says Star Wars, that it's all got to be exactly the same. When even that concept doesn't make sense, because the very first 2 movies were totally different than one another. Star Wars A New Hope is totally different from Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, you have the same characters, ships, blah, 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 blah. One is darker in tone. One wraps up, one doesn't. I mean, come on. Let's do a little Bad Batch. And then I guess we'll do the Star Wars cage fight. I thought this was going to be a quick episode, but we're going to go at least an hour strong anyway.
Okay.
All right, Bad Batch, not bad. Not bad. I love the horror idea. It was Aliens.
Aliens, yeah.
They rip off at least one famous movie per Bad Batch episode, but that's okay because Dave Filoni himself, or at least the Rebels certainly did a lot of shout-outs to like Spielberg and shit.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I'm not freaking out. In fact, I thought it was good. I thought Omega was not annoying, as she usually is. I thought the premise was cool. I liked the monster. I thought the monster looked really cool and scary.
That was a callback to the Clone Wars.
What? Talk to me.
Remember that?
No, I don't remember the Clone Wars, but you just watched it.
I know. So
I watched the Clone Wars 10 years ago.
There was an arc where they were on a planet and they were trying to negotiate a treaty with these miners, and the miners uncovered, like, they detonated this weapon they were testing out this weapon that was supposed to be used against the droids, and it woke in this giant, like, dragon monster.
That thing was great.
And none of the energy weapons were working, and I think it was like a Jedi lightsaber had to pierce the hull.
All right.
So what happens is, and it becomes kind of like a morality tale, like, do we kill this monster, or do we preserve it for scientific research? So this is you see Palpatine kind of showing who he really is by making the argument to preserve this creature so it could be studied, and how its armor and how it could help fight, be used to help fight the Clone War.
Well, I dug it.
But we're seeing now what he's trying to do.
I dug the monster. Very cool. I liked it a lot. And I thought, again, my major criticism has been Omega. Not that annoying this episode. I will say one thing. Maybe some of my ire needs to not just go from Omega, but needs to be shifted to the Bad Batch themselves. For two examples, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you two examples that will lead to my thesis. Number one, when one of the clones, Echo or whoever, who's there left? It's Wrecker, Hunter, and Echo,
no,
right?
Tech.
It's Tech who's there?
Yeah.
Echo is the one who left?
Yeah.
I will never, ever remember that for the rest of my life. That was a major design flaw. Having two guys look the same and have similar names was fucking stupid. Anyway, when one of those guys, Tech, then said that monster ate people, she looked scared. And then when they finally got back to their ship, did you notice she got out her teddy bear? Her little teddy bear, the Lothal cat.
Yeah.
And started actually rubbing and petting the teddy bear because, here's my theory, she's traumatized now. She has now experienced several near-death missions. She's nearly gotten shot several times, drowned, eaten, electrocuted.
Maybe you're looking at this the wrong way. Maybe she's starting to realize that her precociousness is getting her in trouble.
That is what I was leading to that. If the Bad Batch capitalizes on this vulnerability that she was showing, then this is what I was calling for. Remember, I was calling for her to wake the fuck up and realize she's the one putting these people's lives in danger week in and week out. It's her fault most of the time that everyone's almost killed. And maybe that was to show, shit, I'm a little girl, and what am I doing with these guys? And the reason why I'm saying the Bad Batch has some responsibility now, they shouldn't be traveling with this kid anymore, in my opinion. She's getting mentally fucked up. The Bad Batch themselves need to figure a way to get Omega into someone's hands that are safe and sound.
That's what it kind of sounds like. They're like, you might actually get your wish now. A few Omega free episodes.
Because you got what's her face, the female alien?
Yeah.
From
Camino. Yeah, Comedian.
This is what I've been begging for. Have that alien get Omega, and the two of them live happily ever after. We don't have to see her anymore.
Well, they got.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to destroy all Omega. I'm going to say the Bad Batch themselves have a little responsibility. She is now breaking. The girl is getting traumatized now with all of the horrific shit that keeps happening to this squad.
You keep saying traumatized, but I'm
traumatized.
I'm looking
she
at
was
it.
Shaking, petting her goddamn teddy bear.
Well, I think that she's starting to realize that things are at stake now. Like, every time she wants to be the moral compass, be like, oh, we have to do this. Oh, we need to.
And it backfires, and she almost gets everyone killed.
Now she realizes, oh, there's a creature that could potentially eat us.
And again, and the one thing I'll say that was slightly annoying, but again, didn't make me freak out, it was Omega when they're like, the Sid. First of all, little thing about Sid. At what point, why would Sid keep sending these losers out there to find stuff when they fail week in and week out? Secondly, why wouldn't Sid is a bad person. She clearly doesn't care about these people. So why wouldn't Sid then take the fucking phone and say, hey, guess what? I can deliver you the Bad Batch. Send me 50 million credits right now.
I think that's what they're heading towards.
Well,
now.
do it already.
That's going to be
the fact that Sid told them, go on this, scavenging trip, and you heard Omega go, how hard can a scavenging trip be? And you're like, dude, do you learn everything?
I think now she's
Think of this. Think of it like this. Think of it realistically, logically. The galaxy has billions of planets, billions of different people, monsters, creatures, ways of the Force. It's fucking dangerous. The odds are, most planets you go to, unless it's your home, you're going there for the first time. So actually assume that everywhere you go is dangerous. Because you don't know what kind of monsters, creatures, soldiers, warriors, whatever the fuck is waiting on that planet for you. So the fact that she'd be like, how hard can it be? It's just a scavenger trip. It's like, you don't know nothing about the galaxy yet. There is no such thing as a safe trip in the Star Wars galaxy. It's dangerous out there.
Well, there's space pirates and space creatures.
Thank you. But at some point, she's got to learn these lessons. She's not four.
I think that's what's happening now.
Good.
What'd you think of the new bad guy? That doctor guy.
Okay. I was still high off of Gorian Shard. I wanted wanted the lawnmower man, as I call him, Gorian Shard, to fucking pop up in the Bad Batch.
You see,
by the way, I did obviously watch Mando first.
Okay.
And that's going to be my strategy from here on in.
Really?
Because Mando put me in such a good mood that I was willing to overlook a little Omega irritatingness and just relatively enjoy the Bad Batch episode for like the first time since the Crosshair episode. Maybe the Palpatine
I did
episode.
the opposite.
No, don't do that.
No, it actually worked out well for me.
Really?
Because I was like, okay, this isn't that bad, but the way I figured, like, I went into it thinking, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, I'm like, it's probably going to be a bad episode. Because there have been more bad episodes of the Bad
Way
Batch
more. I've counted
than good episodes.
Before this episode, they were 2 for 10. So 2 good ones, 8 bad ones. The 2 good ones, honestly, were the Crosshair episode and the Palpatine episode.
Yes.
For me, at least.
So,
2 out of 10 sucks. In any sport, if you're 2 out of 10, you're getting your ass fired.
So I was like, all right, if I watch the Bad Batch, I might get disappointed, but I know Mandalorian's not going to disappoint me. So it'll lift me up if I
See, that's pessimistic. I went in with, you know what? I have such faith in Mando. It's going to put me in a good mood. And now carry me over with the Bad Batch, and I'm not going to just hate it and lose it and be angry for the rest of the day.
The episode wasn't that bad to begin with. So
no, but had I done it reverse, I may have gotten a little bit more annoyed at Omega than I was, because I still felt like she was irritating. But it was an irritating when they showed her being vulnerable, when they showed that she's, she's starting to become aware of some of her mistakes. She also repeated the mistakes when she said that it was going to be no problem going on the scavenger hunt. So it's like, but nevertheless, not a terrible episode. Finish up Star Wars cage match. We got to go.
I just wanted to ask you, well, fuck, now I forgot now.
All right,
fuck
good.
me.
That's fine.
Fucking
That's fine.
shit.
Let's not. We've given an insanely big episode when we came in here with exactly
Nothing.
0 show prep. No, I mean, not out of laziness, Yaddle heads. This is the premiere of Mando 3, season 3. We wanted it to be all about Mando. Next week, we're going to get back to doing some news, and we will continue the recaps of Mandalorian and Bad Batch. but also give you some news.
I think I figured out why Bad Batch isn't like clicking. There's no big story arc.
Now they have one. It took 11 episodes to do it.
But you know what I mean? Like
you're getting it now because you're finally getting the Empire involved. You're getting those, what are they called? Lamasu? Namasu. What are those fucking creatures called again?
Which ones?
The aliens from the fucking clone planet. Camino.
Oh, the Kaminoans.
What are they called? No, they're called Kaminoans.
Kaminoans.
Her name, they said it 5 times. Namasu.
Oh.
I have 9,000 radio shows. You can't expect me to remember stuff. You need to be making character glossaries going forward for every show that we do.
Sure.
That is what you can do.
Okay.
Star Wars cage match, and let's get out of here, please.
Okay, I've got it. Ahsoka Tano versus Kylo Ren.
Versus Kylo Ren. Wow. That's an interesting one. And not one that is impossible. Could we see Ahsoka versus Kylo Ren? I mean, could she still be alive by the sequel trilogy? Be in her, 60s?
It's possible.
I like this match. You got the 2 lightsabers with Ahsoka. You got Kylo Ren and all the cool shit he can do. Here's the problem. Kylo Ren, the unpredictability factor, I think is going to be too much for Ahsoka. She is used to fighting lightsaber artists, shall we say, that have proper training. The Jedi training, even Anakin. Anybody who has the proper training. When you go against the Kylo Ren, he is quite unorthodox because he taught himself. I think that'll give Kylo Ren the edge.
Did he really teach himself how to use a light? I thought Luke did.
Luke taught him, Luke trained him, but by the time he made his own lightsaber and continued his own Sith training.
Well, so did Luke. Luke had to develop his own lightsaber fighting style.
He had gotten sufficient training from Yoda and Obi-Wan. This guy got like a week and a half out of Luke before Luke nearly chopped his head off. Nope. Kylo Ren for the win.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes.
I'm going to stick with Ahsoka because I think that she's far more proficient with the Force.
Then Kylo?
Yeah, I don't think he's had enough training with the Force.
Could be a little truth in that, but you're still wrong. Give me 50 points. We're just going to end it right there.
That's fine.
All right, now we're going to finish the show, Jared.
Sure. So first, I want to...
Is there anything you'd like to say before we finish the show?
Yes. First...
And go ahead. Now you can begin.
All right.
You always have to wait for the music.
First, I want to thank all our patrons that have already signed up for our Patreon. If you haven't yet, please go over to patreon.com/EastSideDave. Right now, all we're asking for is $2.50.
That's to support us. But we have tiers. In fact, there may be a new tier announced as early as next week. We promise this is not just going to be us being lazy. We're just getting everything organized and revealing tiers and steps. You're just going to have to trust us. But motherfuckers, I'm a productive, very hard-working person who's never been lazy in his entire life. Look at me right now. I've got 5 #1 shows going on right now.
We want to hit a goal. We want to hit 50 patrons. And all we're asking for right now is for $2.50. And with $2.50, we're acknowledging you as our patron, and it's like, supporting us.
We played them at the end of the Davey Mac Sports program.
And we should be playing them today, too.
Okay, good. And Robert will play them as well.
I'll send him an updated list later tonight.
Please, that's a smart idea. It's got to be later than tonight. He's going to start editing this show now.
Okay, we'll get it done. Okay, that's patreon.com/EastsideDave. You can follow Eastside Dave across all social media platforms at Eastside Dave. You can download us wherever podcasts are available.
Watch us on YouTube.
Eastside Dave TV, the EastsideDaveCountry.com. And I think that's about it.
Hey, listen. Star Wars. Kicking ass, taking names. I don't listen to Danny D. Placido of Forbes or Drew McGarry of San Francisco Gate. I'm not going to. You're not going to rain on my parade. Mando was great. Bad Batch was okay. As a result, I'm a Star Wars fan, and I'm happy. He's Jedi Jared. I'm Darth David. Thanks for listening to Yaddle Chattle. Yaddle heads, good night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.